Hey everybody, how was your Thanksgiving? Was it okay? I know that Thanksgiving is one of the holidays like Christmas where if you don't have family that is healthy that you can gather around and enjoy precious quality time with, it can be a triggering thing that there's so much talk from people about what great gatherings they have and how much fun they had. And I know at least for me it is. There was a time when it was a huge priority for me to gather with my family of origin, in-laws, extended family, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, all that stuff. But ironically, ever since I got healthy and have put up healthy boundaries, I don't enjoy family gatherings as much as I used to. If my husband and I and our kids were invited to a family celebration and it worked for our schedule, we would consider going. I'm sure you guys can probably relate to this, but in the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving, I saw so many jokes online about families gathering for Thanksgiving, and hopefully Uncle Joey won't talk about politics, and hopefully cousin whatever won't bring up that thing that happened 20 years ago, and blah, 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 the fight between grandma and grandpa. And as we approached Thanksgiving, it dawned on me that that was not going to be my lot for Thanksgiving by choice. And that surprised me to think of that, because I hadn't thought of that before in terms of gathering for the holidays and how it might be fun for some, and some events or activities or conversations might be fun. Some games that you play might be fun, but how sometimes gathering can be triggering. And sometimes gathering can be painful. There's painful conversations, painful recollections, a lot of tension, people that don't understand boundaries and don't understand what it means to be healthy and say things that, antagonize you, or topics that should be off limits that they don't register should be off limits. Especially if you're in the minority in your family. The majority tends to have a monopoly on conversations. I don't know if it's that way in your family, but it certainly is in mine, where the family knows a certain topic should be off limits because it's a sensitive topic to one person. But in my family, any topic is fair game. My family tends to randomly bring up old issues and sensitive issues and inappropriate things and high octane topics at every gathering at random times, just to get a reaction out of somebody or to make themselves feel good about their position and to pat each other's back that, the majority have the monopoly on the conversation, whatever the case may be. It's kind of crazy. And why would anyone want to be around that? God forbid they should stop and think about being courteous and respectful in a time of gathering and gratitude and thanks. Some just don't think that way. I guess that's why I didn't hesitate, didn't have to think too hard, and didn't feel guilty about spending the Thanksgiving holiday just with my own family. Because we had fun. We enjoyed ourselves. We spent quality time together. And there was no fighting, there was no bickering, there was no high octane subjects brought into the conversation. We just enjoyed relaxing with each other. And now I'm getting deep into the preserve where I hike and away from the highway. I'm sure you can tell it's quieter. Do you guys remember back when I first started this channel, I would start every video with that opening view almost, because I live right by this preserve. It's a wonderful place to walk. See all these trees? It's quiet, especially on a day like today. It's gorgeous and quiet. I don't often come here in the summer walking because I'm on my bike so much, and it's always so busy here in summer. This time of year is perfect. Lots of snow. I was starting to get sweaty and hot, so I had to undo the bottom of my hat and the top of my coat. I was going to ask you guys if you noticed a series on gaslighting and the early stages of the problems that began with my sister and I, how one of the things that kept me quiet after she gave me the ultimatum in 2012 was that I was terrified to lose my sister. I did not want to lose my sister. That was not an option for me. And oftentimes that's why we stay in toxic relationships, out of fear. You know, what would we do without them? But part of getting healthy is having confidence in yourself, having faith in yourself. And even if you're absolutely, positively, 100% alone, you're still better off than staying in a toxic relationship, in my opinion. But I'm also of the opinion that that's not the sort of thing you can do without first realizing your true worth and your true value. And then you're able to stand on your own 2 feet without the toxic person in your life. And how similar is that idea from that series and my relationship with my sister? How similar is that to the Thanksgiving idea of not gathering and celebrating Thanksgiving with a bunch of people who are going to be misbehaving, for lack of a better word, who are going to be toxic, who are going to be antagonistic, who are going to be picking on you, who are going to be bringing up politics, who are not going to have tact and courtesy and respect when you're gathering and show a good attitude and kindness and love and gentleness. It's the same thing. You know, don't be afraid to celebrate Thanksgiving by yourself if it means you're going to be sparing yourself toxic relationships. Just a thought. And now it's time for me to hoof it up the hill. The snow isn't coming down as hard as what they said it was going to. They were talking about a couple feet of snow. And they say the snow is supposed to keep up over the next week. So we'll see how much we wind up getting. One of the things I definitely can attest to is the time I've wasted over the years on relationships that were a complete waste of time, that wore me out, that sucked the energy out of me, that sucked the inspiration out of me. And if you're a creative person like me, you do not want your creativity sucked up by toxic people who are just going to use and abuse and cast your care and your love aside. It's just not worth it. It really isn't. Almost back to the highway where I walk to go back home. The whole full loop is 2.5 miles, so it's a good walk, or 2.7 miles. So it's a good walk for me. update, which I've been promising for a while now, is this. I weighed myself a couple days ago and I weighed 281, which was stunning to me, but also not surprising. I know that seems like a contradiction, but truth is, I have not had a really good workout or a consistent attendance at the gym for weeks, probably months if I look back. There have been periods where I've went 3 or 4 days in a row and I felt really good, like I was back on track, but then I'd fall back off the wagon. So part of the reason, and I don't mean to make excuses, but part of the reason for that is that the area where I live has gotten blasted with snow in the last couple weeks. Part of the reason has been because I've had holiday art shows and I've been trying to produce product. So that's kept me busy. Part of the reason is because I work full time, and so my schedule is really tight, and the gym winds up falling to the bottom of the list because I'm trying to do well, and I'm trying to keep up with my channel here. So, there's all kinds of reasons, all kinds of excuses I could give you, but the point is that I've just let myself down, for lack of a better phrase, and I need to refocus, recommit, and figure out what I can do moving forward to help myself out, if that makes sense. And one of the decisions I made, which I'm going to send the letter after the first of the year, is that I'm going to resign from the board I'm on with the market I do weekly in the summer on Saturdays. It's such a huge commitment. It takes a lot of time, and it's not a priority of mine. One of the board members is very selfish and has selfish goals, and she uses my business stuff inappropriately without permission. And so I'm not really happy with what's going on in the direction that the market's going. And it's also such a huge commitment because it's a weekly commitment, and I only missed a couple weeks last summer. But next summer I would like to do more art shows and recommit to sorry, I just heard a weird bird noise. I don't know what it was. And I'd like to recommit. Sorry, I got something in my eye too. Getting distracted. I'd like to recommit to some bigger shows, some long weekend shows like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I can't do that. I can't produce product, especially quality product, because it takes more time, and do these art shows and break into this scene that I really want to break into with the current workload that I have. That's the goal. Next summer, so after the first of the year, I'm going to resign my position from the board, and maybe I'll do a couple markets next summer, but I'm not going to do the weekly commitment, and I'm not going to commit to meetings, and I'm not going to commit to being on the board anymore. I am going to recommit myself, and this last year was the test year, and so that's one of the other things that I knew going into the summer that would be a challenge is how am I going to stay committed to this fitness journey if I've got all of these other things going on. And I realized and learned, there's the sun, and I don't have my sunglasses with me. Anyway, I realized, and it was a learning experience for me, that I can't do it all. And so I've got to shuffle around my priorities, and my priorities are whole wellness. So in any case, my lowest weight, I think, which was probably July or August, maybe, I can't really remember, or maybe it was even September, where I peaked out at my lowest weight of 269, which I was really proud of. That was significant for me. And part of it was the working out things, but the other part of it was I wasn't honoring, for lack of a better word, my nutrition, the strict guidelines I had before. I've been allowing myself on a regular basis to snack and have sweets and have junk, not large amounts, not binging, but throughout the course of the week. And remember what I was telling you before about how your body adjusts and conserves those calories. Even if you're not eating a lot of them, your body then doesn't burn the storage that is already on your body, the storage of fat that's already on your body. So kind of contradictory. And so, wow, it's so beautiful in the woods. Check this out. I Isn't that stellar? And I just realized that my other video was shot at the wrong camera angle, and I get the habit of doing that because it's easier for me to hold my camera that way. Hopefully I'll get a couple shots of some wildlife for you. That would be sweet. But I gotta be quiet and I can't be yammering while I do that. So anyway, I want to let you guys know about that fitness update. The snow situation has just been a monkey wrench. Like, the area where I live, they don't keep the roads real good. They don't maintain them very well at all, even the main highway. So it's a risk that I'm not willing to take. Oh, and the other thing is I used to drive an all-wheel drive Subaru, and a couple weeks ago that died. And that vehicle, I would drive in a blizzard. It wouldn't bother me at all. It's just a tank in the snow. However, now I have and drive a front-wheel drive vehicle that is not that great. It's due for new tires, but that's beside the point. It's not as good in the snow, and especially the ice. And without them maintaining the roads and it getting dark because of the short days, between the short days and driving in the dark, which I don't like, and the hunter scaring the deer across the highway and the increased chance of hitting an animal, and the headlights, that's kind of redundant. And the distance, because from my work I have to drive south to get to the gym, and then driving back from the gym I have to pass work and drive north. So it's like a 45-minute round trip from work to the gym and back home. So with the snow and ice and ill-treated roads, it's all culminated in this real big challenge and roadblock for me to try to get to the gym on a regular basis this time of year. Last year, I had the benefit of basically no snow to deal with and no sketchy roads. Wow, how about that sunshine? Whoa. They were not calling for sunshine today. This is fantastic, and it's like 45 degrees. It is so warm. I'm only wearing a hat because when I left the house, my hair was wet. So check this out. Not too shabby. I don't know if other people get as excited as I do when I'm out walking in nature, but it is, I think maybe I've mentioned that before on my channel, but it's like my therapy. Like, if I can start my day with a good burst of exercise, it sets me in the right mood for the rest of the day. And I've been spending a lot of time in my studio because my last art show is coming up, and I'm ready for the break, but I need to produce product, especially holiday product, for this show, because this show only selected, how many artists are going to be there? I think 15. They hand selected these people, and I was one of the people selected, and it's a free show. And for an artist, if you don't have to pay a fee and you get invited to attend the show, you better have some good product and a good volume of product for your shoppers. So this week, I hope I can make it to the gym at least 3 times. That's my goal. And I'll be pleased if I can make it to the gym 3 times this week and have good workouts. But I also want to get in the studio and make some more art, create some more things. I'm going to say goodbye now. Sorry, I'm walking down a really steep little embankment that tends to get icy in the winter times. I have to be careful. And I'm also distracted because I came up to a spot on my hike where there's benches and stuff, and sometimes people are sitting here relaxing with their pets or whatever, and I'm overlooking a beautiful pond, which I'll show you shortly after I trudge through the snow to get there. I hope to give you a lot more frequent updates on everything in the coming weeks and months now that I've made the decision to resign from the board that I'm on and not committing that weekly thing, and I don't have any art shows. I've got 3 months off. Yes, it may be winter time, and I'm not a huge fan of winter because oftentimes it strands you indoors, and I don't like that. However, there are no bugs out. That's a benefit, and I also appreciate the rest from my busy schedule in summer. So until next time, here's the pond.
Enjoy.